If everybody will take a seat, we'll go ahead and start our class. If you'll take your seat. Thank you so much. Let me just say we're very fortunate this morning to have Dino Tzanetos with us from Athens, Greece. He'll tell you a lot about that work there. This congregation has helped to support Dino for a long, long time. I know we have a lot of new members here, and you may not know Dino and Mata, but please try to get an opportunity to get to know them. That congregation was started in 1967 in Athens, and they do a tremendous work there. A lot of people from all over the world come to Athens as immigrants, and they deal a lot with those folks coming through, and then they go somewhere else in the world. They become Christians there, but then they spread the word further. And I'm not going to take any more time. Dino, please share with us.
I think I've got this here already. Yes. Okay, well, let me go backwards a little more. Yeah. I truly don't have words to tell you how honored I feel I was given the time to talk to you. It's been a long time since the last time I spoke to you, and Matt and I feel part of this family here, so it is a joy that I have the time to address to you some of the things we're doing in Greece. First of all, let me apologize for two things. For not wearing a tie, but my skin problem last year. Because of the problem, the doctors suggested I won't never wear a tie again in my life, and not heavy clothes. The second thing is, I was asked if I have prepared any candies and any sweet stuff for you in this class, but I'm sorry, guys, I don't have any. If you need sweet stuff, go to Mata's class. She's got everything over there, and that's the right time to go. Anyway, there's so many things to say about the work where God is doing in Greece, using all of us together. But of course, the time will not allow me. Therefore, we might say that this is just a brief report of the church history and the present condition in Athens. If I could have put a title to it, it would be Burned Beyond Measure but Not Crushed. But we're going to talk about that tonight at the lesson. The church started in Athens in 1967 when the first missionary, George Dumas, came from Abilene, Texas, to do mission work. Him and my father were related, first cousins. None of the two knew the existence of the other. So he found the address of the family business, and he came, and one day as I was walking in my office, the business, my secretary said, "Mr. Tzanetos, I'm afraid we have an invasion from Texas here." It was George, his wife, and 5 kids, all dressed like cowboys, and they came into the building. That was the beginning. Being actually the only one speaking English in the family, I just took all the time I needed to help them find a place to stay, help them find school for their kids, find a place for the church building to start. And that's how everything started. To thank me for what I did for them, they converted me. That was their gift to me for all the work that I have done for them. But like I said, we do not have the time to go to details. So all I can say is that the first 10 years of the church in Athens were very, very difficult. None of the missionaries or even I really realize what it means to work under the thumb of the Greek Orthodox Church. And for you to understand what's going to happen in the future, just let me tell you that right across of the church building, it is the headquarters of the Greek Orthodox Church. That's how close we are. So we never realized that we were a thorn in their flesh and that they will not allow anybody else to come and start preaching the gospel. One of the verses that the Greek Orthodox Church very, very seldom, if ever, uses is the verse that you shall know the truth and the truth will set you free. They don't want people to know the truth. They only want them to know what they believe. They are the representatives of God in Greece, the Greek Orthodox Church generally in that Balkan area, and therefore they have the right to do anything they want. And they have prepared things in a way that everything will lead to them. So all they ask from the people is, come whenever you can. Bring your gifts to God. Actually, give it to us because we are God's representatives. And we're going to work your way to heaven. We're going to send you to heaven no matter what. And if by accident you go to hell, we still can move you from hell to heaven. Now, that sounds a little funny, but that's exactly what it is. And that's an easy religion. So trying to teach them different and to bring them face to face with the Bible and tell them about the Christian living and the things you have to do in order to go to heaven, to them it's unreal and it's not acceptable. The idea is through the Greek Orthodox Church, we have made it. All we have to do is just give our gift. You are asking us to change. I mean, God, the God you teach us, is asking us to change our personality. Actually, you're asking us to give him our life and let him lead it. Well, we're not willing to do that. Anyway, that's the concept under which we had to work. Truly, I did not know what was going to happen, but the truth is that we had a lot of problems. It took us about 3 years to get a permit to work as a church. Every time I go to the Ministry of Religion, we're under them, they would refuse it. Finally, we were able to get a permit to work as a congregation only because the missionary was American, not Greek American, American. And he went to the American embassy and he asked their help. And the Greek government was not willing to get in conflict with the American government, so they gave us the okay. Now, that does not mean that things were okay. We just had the right to be there, but not the right to exercise our faith. Everything had to be done within the building, nothing outside the building. We were not allowed to do anything, just to go out and give pamphlets or tracts or anything, talk to people. That was no. And of course, they did the best they could to stop us from proclaiming the gospel. That's why I said the first pretty much 10 years were very difficult. There are a lot of things to tell you, but the time, like I said, will not permit. But just let me mention some. First, like I told you, number one, we were not allowed to do anything outside the church. Second, we had a big problem staying in the building we will rent. And when I say church building, keep in mind, we're not talking about something like this. It was just a big 6, 7, 8 floors of building, and we were just renting the ground floor. But No matter what was going on, and if we had problems, we could not move to go to another place unless they would give us the permit. And the permit could take time. And the permit says you cannot be close to a school, to any public office, close to a Greek Orthodox church, close to a police station. They had to be about 700 feet distance between. Folks, it's not easy to find places like this in Greece. It's not a big country like here. It's Athens, the city of Athens, just a big city. Just go downtown Nashville. How easy for you is to find a place that will meet all those requirements, you know. Anyway, even if you had to find that building, we had another problem. The Greek priest, because every area in Greece has a church building, a building that is donated to a saint, and the Greek priest was going around the neighborhood asking the people to turn against us. And then they did something else. They were collecting 51% signature of the people who were staying in that building, and if they had 51 signatures, they could ask us to leave the place. So every now and then we had to leave that place and try to find another one. And the top of it, they will exhort people, our neighbors around the neighborhood, to come against us. And they were coming. They thought that they would do God a favor by bringing their dogs every Sunday morning in front of our door to do their job, the dogs, you know, so people cannot come in, you know. There was a policeman always outside the building, kind of threatening people not to come in. Now, in a world full of traditions and superstitions, you know about the Israelis and Jesus' time, what he had to face with their traditions, the superstitions. Well, it was just about the same thing. And then having a policeman out there and the exhortation of a priest, how easy you think people will stop and listen to you. Anyway, that did not stop us. Therefore, the Greek Orthodox Church printed a poster all over Athens. It was about the size of a door, saying that the Church of Christ and the Jehovah's Witnesses are enemies of this country. They shouldn't have a place to stay, a job to work. They should be put in prison. Well, that was not a good advertisement for us. Then they printed a 280 pages book that they call it the anti-heretic book. And they gave us the 85 first pages. And in these pages they wrote what we believe, trying to teach their people that their belief it's against ours. But they never realized that they did a good favor to us. Actually, they did what we were there to do, just proclaim Christ, and they did it by printing it in the book. But that's one side to see it. The flip side is that kind of scared people. I could give you details that maybe your hair would go that high. All I want to say is that under those circumstances, those days, it was extremely difficult to operate as a church. One time we went with a missionary, we went together to a village not far from Athens to give a tract. We already had printed a tract, what is the Church of Christ? The first tract we printed because we wanted the people to know who we are. So when we arrived there, we were arrested by the Greek priest, the police, and the school director. These are the three powers in the Greek villages still, you know, the priest, the school director, and the police. They put us in the police station saying that our tract was against God's will and against the Greek Orthodox Church. To shorten the time, we had to wait 3 days there until the judge will come to judge us. The priest thought that he will do a favor to his people if he connect all the speakers outside the church building. He asked the judge to use the Greek church building as a courtroom, so people can come. But of course, not everybody, it was not big enough for everybody, so they connected the speakers so people can hear. And the judge began to read that tract and kept on reading it and kept on reading it and kept on reading it. And the more he was reading it, the more the priest's face was turning red, because he was expecting that somehow you're going to be condemned to death. Finally, the priest says, I don't find anything against our faith. But he also did us a favor. All the village knew what was the tract about. We were trying to give it away, but he did a job for us. Anyway, again, I will say that they were scaring times, really times that we felt very pressed. I would even say sometimes even some form of despair. Personally, for me, I was just a brand new Christian. You know, I didn't know anything I shouldn't know. But anyway, in 8 years after they came, the church started, the missionary asked us if we could work for the Lord. Now, that was not an easy decision. We had a business, a family business, quite big, I would say, with a really bright future ahead. Anyway, Mara and I it did not take much time for us to decide, so we said yes. My family did not like the idea because in me they were looking the one who would keep up with the business. But the decision was made. So we went with George to the Ministry of Religion asking for more freedoms. And by God's grace, we were given some more. But still, the persecution continued. But I'm going to run in time now. Am I making this noise? No, I don't think. Knowing that let me put it this way, our biggest problem by that time was the building. We were asked to leave constantly. So we decided that we had to do something about it. We challenged the brethren. We asked them for a big sacrifice. That's on my stomach, okay? All right. Oh, you think pocket, change pockets? Good. All right. Thank you. So we asked them for a sacrifice. And to be honest with you, it was a big one. They brought every little thing they had, jewelry, and most of them, they brought even their wedding rings. And they put them in the basket. Well, we counted the offer, but still it was not enough. But we had to find a place. Therefore, we came here telling our story, and by God's grace, we found the money to buy a place. And since then, we have found some peace as well. Since we own a place, nobody can ask us to leave now and start running from place to place. But let me run in the time because I need to. The years passed. Immigrants began to come to Greece, and we did see that we suddenly found ourselves in a big mission field. We didn't have to go far away from Athens. We had about 1 million, by that time it was 500,000 of immigrants coming to Greece, whether to stay in Greece or to move to another European country. The point is that for that particular time they were there. So we had another form of people to work with. And we began to work and to worry, to grow. A little by little. That was the peacetime we went through for about 10 years. 15 years ago, our congregation was at the very top. We already had 2 services, Greek and English, Greek in the morning, English in the afternoon. We had 3 Bible studies in the church building every week. We had about 3 to 5 home Bible studies in homes. We had an outreach program, benevolence program, visitation program. We had a mission work in Courts, Albania, because in '91 I decided to go to Albania and see if we can start to work there. One of our members, a lady, was speaking Albanian, so we went there. We put an ad to the newspaper for corresponding courses. And finally, we had about 2,500 response. And that's how the church over there started. I'm not going to tell you about that because I don't have the time. The point is that it was part of our work now, the mission work. And every week, we're going to go there and be with the brethren and help them. Actually, I started the work in Tirana, the work in Flora, in Durrës, and I had a connection with the WEI school here and the EEM, Eastern European Missions. They asked me if we can work together, and I said, of course. I will try to plan a church, provided you'll come and follow up, because we cannot follow up here. And that's how it started. And I'm so happy and proud in the Lord that now there's a lot of churches in Albania as well. But for that time, it was part of our mission work. We had a prison ministry through which we converted 37 prisoners. That's another nice story, but we don't have the time to go. The good thing about it is that the prison we were working, it was not a final, as we call it there, prison. It was an 18 months prison. And the people were waiting there to go under court. Soon they were won to court and they were sentenced, whatever the sentence was, they were sent to other prisons. The point is that nobody could stay in that prison more than 18 months. So we did not really have the time to work as we would like with them. However, 37 people were baptized, and when some of them went to other prisoners, we kept sending them material. So we told them that now you can do there what we were doing with you here. So even in other prisons, the church started. Now, first through the time, we've lost these people. They didn't want to spend their time in prison, so when they were free, they left, and we do not know what might have happened with those that they were taught in the prison. I like to believe and hope that they found the Lord somewhere, somehow. So that was part of our work. And of course, we had school, 2 years full Bible school. So all I can say is everything was great by that time. We were about 130 people, and we had the desire, the faith and the desire to go higher. So we decided to shoot for higher. We said, let's get close to 200. And the good thing is that it was really a loving spirit from the members to do that. Everybody was working as much as they could, of course, so all together we can do this happen. And unfortunately, that was the time where everything changed. We had a bad beginning, we had a peaceful time, and now things began to change again. We just did not know by then what was going to happen. The big problem started with the big debt, the financial debt that the great government had. Don't ask me to tell you the reasons. The point is that they had to pay, our government, the socialist government, tried to play it, macho against the Germans and the Italians and the French people. So they aggravated them. They make them be angry, really. So what they decided to do, a debt that we were to pay in 50 years, Now it is demanded to be paid in 1 year. And you're talking about billions of money. That's a catastrophe. Everything started going down. Within 6 months, unemployment rose to Greece officially 45%. Unofficially was close to 60%. And of course, it affects our brethren as well. 85% of our working members, 85%, remain unemployed from 1 to 3 years. I don't know if you can put the figures in your mind. I believe you can, but it's not easy to explain how to deal with a family that they have the desire, but they cannot feed their own family. Fathers and mothers with children, they could not handle their needs anymore. Brother Dino, they asked us to leave from the apartment because we do not have money to pay the rent. Sister Mara, they cut off our power. Can you please do something? Anyway, that was the time we decided to change our focus. Without neglecting our main work, which is reach out, we decided that it was more important to look within the church. It was a time that the members, you in Greece, needed more attention. I've studied business, I've studied the Bible, but I've never studied psychology, so I really do not know how to handle some of those things, you know. That they're right there in front of you, demanding of an answer, and you just don't know what to do. But at the same time, you want to do something because they're your people, you love them. They're more family to us than our own families. Our own families kind of rejected us because we stopped being Greek Orthodox. So it was a big desire to do the best we could. Unfortunately, you understand that our contribution dropped down to zero. How can you ask people to pay when they don't have money to eat? So that was the time Mara and I spent more with the family. I stayed more with the spiritual part because during those difficult times, it is for a Christian, you know, to turn the head up there even without saying anything. But even this move is going to tell them, you know, are you still there? Do you see what we're going through? Are you going to do something about it? In other words, God, the devil is playing games, using those difficult times to steal your faith and make you turn against God, who supposedly does not care for you since you go through all those calamities, you know. And I don't know, but I believe all of us had the idea that since we became Christians, bad things won't happen to us. But they do happen. So I focus more on the spiritual part. Mara focused more on the rest of it. As a mother of the family, she would spend time with the sisters, encouraging them, studying with them, taking them out for a coffee, providing food, providing clothes, shoes, school material, even Bible class material, things we send from here to Greece every time we come. We already sent some boxes of this stuff. So she was spending all her time to help as much as was possible, you know. Even 24 hours sometimes seemed not to be enough to do what you wanted to do. But we wanted to do it. Not because we had to, but because we really wanted to. We wanted to be next to our family. Anyway, we did all we could do, but it still was not enough. So we turned our story here to the States, and by God's grace, we were blessed in a way that we could not even think. The brethren from here extended their hands, you too, guys, and sent any kind of help we could. Now, don't think about big numbers. No. We hardly had $200 to feed a family of 4 people for a month and meet their needs. If you think that's possible, let me know so I can apply that when I go back to Greece again, But that's all we had. And we made the brethren feel better because it's better than nothing. God is working. God is using people who have extended their love and their hands here. And we really appreciated that so very, very much. But I've got to go. Woo, I only have a few minutes. Things began to get a little better, and we began to see from that long, dark tunnel a little light at the end. Says maybe we're coming out of it. And before even we got out of it, we just came face to face with COVID. And now things are worse than before, and let me explain why they're worse. It was almost next to impossible to find a job before. Now, not only you don't have a job, but you're not allowed even to go out to look for a job. Guys, we had a 3.5 years lockdown. For about a year, families could not go out. If you wanted to go to the grocery store, you had to send an email, a message, an SMS with your iPhone, tell them where I'm going, why I'm going, how long I'm going to be, and if they thought that it was okay, they will give you the green light to go. And then there was a policeman waiting outside your home to make sure that you went to the next Walmart and you did not go to the Walmart in Alabama. Yeah, you know what I mean. Everybody will use things like that. I want to go to Walmart so they can stay, far outside as more as possible. Well, things were really bad. Domestic violence started very much, and it's still going on in Greece. And one of the things that we were concerned is, because you could see it everywhere. It was on the news. Fathers beating the mothers and the children, or even teenage groups, gangs outside the streets, robbing older people or younger people for a cell phone or anything. I mean, it was in the air. You could feel that thing. So we tried to help our brethren and says, let's don't fall in that trap. It's easy. So now not only we had to keep their faith, but also to help them, including ourselves, not to fall in that trap and develop ugliness within. For us, the worst of all was COVID. It was not a health problem. For us, it was COVID changed personalities. And the same people were not the same people anymore. And there were the people we tried to reach. We wanted to save, to protect our members from not falling in that trap, and at the same time, we had to face the other people whom we tried to reach, and their attitude was, because of ugliness, what are you talking about? Which God you're bringing to me, you're preaching to me? The one who has allowed all these things to happen? They are still blaming God for their own mistakes, but they are the people we have to work with. We don't have another set of people to reach. Well, anyway, even during those difficult times, by God's grace, we converted 10 people. In the meantime, and I need to mention that, we have lost about 50 people. And we've lost them not because they lost faith in God, not because they stopped trusting in God, but there are people, mainly immigrants, who came for a better way of living, and now they found themselves in a worse position than ever before. I remember at the beginning, I asked a couple who came from Nigeria, and I said, why you came here? And they said, well, the only thing we had in Nigeria was a mud hut in the middle of nowhere. So we decided to come over. Well, they got a job, and they're starting a new life. They had 3 kids now. And suddenly they decided to leave. And I said, Anthony was his name, why are you leaving? And he said, Brother Dino, Out there, I still have a mud hut that I can stay in. Over here, I have nothing. Well, those were the conditions that they existed. Therefore, we've lost people that they left only because they were trying to find a better way of living. Well, at the end of COVID, well, it's not an end yet, but at least when they locked our building for 2.5 years, we could not have services or anything. It was only online. When they opened the building, we try again to start our services. A lot of people ask me if we're going to still have online. I said, no, we're not going to have online. If you want to meet the Lord, come here. We can, because we do not have the ability to broadcast our lessons and our studies to other people. No. So it was only for us. And I said, no. Since the building is open, you come here and you start worshiping with us. And we did it. And we were looking again for a better tomorrow. Let me put it this way. The things will change. And it was only 6 months ago that we had a big fire around Athens. Athens has a mountain around, and here is the water. So it was burning all over, and the city was there, and we were scared to death when the flames will move into the city. It was terrifying. It was terrible. Did it affect us immediately? No. But it affected us in many other ways. And after the fires were gone, we had the big flood that made the worst destruction in Greece. In central Greece, we have the biggest valley that will produce 65% of all the goods we use in our living. Well, there were mountains around. The valley was kind of lower. And that cloud, that storm, stayed for about a week right over that place and emptied so much water that it drowned 300,000 chickens. It killed about 150,000 sheep and goats. And 6 villages that there were in that valley, they were fully covered with water. You could not even see the top of the house. Did that affect us immediately? No. But it affected people in many, many other ways. There was no good in the market. You could hardly find now products in the market. And in anticipation of that next year there will not be any production, all the people who were doing business, they raised their prices even up to 500%. Because they know that next year they probably won't have the good that they trade to make money. So even the wages that they were a little better this time, now they kind of be lost because with the same money you cannot buy any more the same amount of food because the prices are gone. All I'm saying, because my lesson is not to tell you about troubles. Oh, troubles have been, we are, and there will always be in this world. Not only in Greece, but everywhere. I just wanted you to know the circumstances under which the church went through and is still going. Yes, we're Christians, but we're human beings and we are affected as much as anybody else. And under the present situations, under those situations, it was really hard even to survive. However, we did good. Within this year, we started again, after the building was open, we started again some of our activities. We had the spring seminar, we had the VBS, Brother Gary Hall came, we had the annual lectureship, and we were looking to a better future. Even after the flood, we hoped that things would change. And then on the top of it, we had the war in Israel. Israel is right next door to us. It's easy for missiles to cross the water and come. Do we have a war problem? No. But even rumors of a war upset people. You don't feel comfortable. You don't feel well. All I'm saying, those are the circumstances The church was and is going through. It was a hard way in the beginning. It was a peaceful level that really brought us up, and now we have to go through. But I'm going to close with this. As I told you, my report was not to tell you about problems, for goodness sake, no. But to tell you that the remaining about 70 people in our congregation now, I believe they are stronger in faith than ever before. Because we've learned some lessons. Through those difficult times, God is teaching us lessons. We've learned how to trust and depend more in God and in His promises. We've learned how to be content and thankful. We've learned how to appreciate those helping hands from here and other congregations coming to Greece to help us. We've learned how to remain strong and faithful and to pray more, how to care more for each other, and a lot of other things. All I'm saying, there's always something good coming out of bad things. Yes, we went through difficult times, and we're going again. But we're alive. We're there to stay. We're there to grow. We're there to do our work. We hope there's not another calamity coming our way. But even if it comes, now we know how to face it. Now, with God's help, we can do anything. That's what Paul said, right? I can do all things. And only when you get into the line, the front line, and you start feeling the bullets, and the bombs, in the war, then you realize some things. But that's where the personality of each person walks on a tightrope. Whether you're going to go on one side and hold God responsible, or you're going to go on the other side and holding God's hand. You're going to go through, and by God's grace, we have gone through those difficult times, and I believe that we are stronger now. And before I close, I want to thank you. Keep in mind, it's not our work over there, it's our work. If we are in the front line, you folks here are the ammunition. You're supporting us to fight out there, and we truly want to thank you. You've been a family to us for so many years, and we're so blessed and thankful being with you. God is good. God takes care of His people. Don't let things change your feelings about Him, even if you're burned sometimes beyond measure. And I want to ask you one thing. Keep us in your prayers. That's all we need right now. We can handle it. We will, by God's grace. But we need your prayers. And again, we thank you. God bless you in every and many ways. Thank you.